All right. Good morning. Hope everyone is really, really well. I am jumping on live this morning to have a chat with you with a very, very special guest. So I'm just checking that we are actually live in the group, in the page rather. Okay, great. Looks like we are. And there is sound. Perfect. All right. So good morning, everyone. This morning, I am joined by Raphael, who is coming to talk to you about her journey and story in the accelerator. And I'm absolutely fizzing this morning because one of the things that Raph is going to talk to you about is one of the things that I'm really passionate about, which is getting people to get committed early on and make decisions that give them time to breathe. Which is really, really exciting. So, Rafe, say hi, and can you introduce your business to everyone?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name's Raphael. My business is Empowered with Raphael, and I am an awakening coach. So I work with people throughout their awakening journey, right from that point where you're like, something's not right in my life and things are crazy and turbulent, but I want to change something and I don't know what that is, right through to intuitive development, counseling, coaching, mindset coaching, and through to advanced practitioners who are Reiki masters, healers, doing the work and want to improve what they're doing and be more boundaried and all of that sort of stuff.
Oh, I love the work that you do. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So, it still blows my mind. You joined the accelerator. We were just talking about it. You joined the accelerator, we think, 9 weeks before the actual coaching started. And it was over the Christmas period. So you joined in, we said about the end of October, November time. And the coaching didn't start in the accelerator until January. So what was that process like for you? Like, what was business like for you before you joined? And what made you join up so early?
So my friend and I had a bit of a strategy session, and I decided on changing from being a trauma release intuitive as my name to being an awakening coach, because I had realized this concept of awakening and had been communicating that with clients for some time. So we made that commitment, and then she was like, girl, you need to get some support with this. And I was like, I know, I need help. There's so much to do. There's so much like involvement. And so she passed me on to Alison, and I just saw you and was just like, yeah, this is aligned. And I did the 7-day business building challenge, and I got, I think, 5 days through it. And I just sent you a message, and I was like, I haven't even finished the 7-day challenge, but I just know that I need to be working with you in one of your programs. And so basically it all just aligned divinely in terms of me being involved early. I didn't exactly plan it that way, but I think the universe threw me in there early so that I could get that support right when I needed to. And so I jumped in and we did a coaching call, and that gave me a whole lot of clarity, which then I was able to action early. So I think that was why things went the way that they did, was just me being like, yep, this is what I need in my life, and just committing to it. And then I was able to get, all of that support early, which was fantastic.
It was so good. So when you joined up, I still remember having that clarity call with you, and I think you were in an airport because you were traveling, because you traveled from North Island, South Island, running workshops. And I remember having that clarity call with you, and we came up with a strategy for things to change, things to do differently, and then to get you onboarded into the accelerator. So what happened for you after that first clarity call and then the onboarding of the accelerator? What was that journey like for you?
Yeah, I think I was in an airport for both of our calls, like when we first connected. Yeah, I was traveling so much back then. I mean, when I came in, I was like super busy, like just doing heaps of stuff, but I didn't really feel like I was getting getting anywhere with a lot of it. Like my clients were amazing and I was getting so much progress with them, but I spent so much time on admin. I spent so much time on budgeting, planning, scheduling people in, just all of that kind of stuff. And I was like, my whole half of my life is admin right now, which was taking away from being able to do the coaching work. And I recall that I was coming to the end of one of my group programs and was just feeling so burnt out and just really exhausted. And so we talked through, okay, what are some systems to put in place? And I remember you were very like, Rafe, you need systems. And I was like, I know, but what? And so we talked through, and you gave me some inspiration on how you do stuff, but also I looked up some other people online and sort of was like, oh my God, that's such a better way of doing it. Why didn't I think of that? And so started to implement. I think that was the biggest shift when I started the clarity call with your first clarity call versus when I went into this into the accelerator was having a shift in systems.
Yeah, that was so important, because then it took all of the stuff that you were managing in your head out and into something that was tangible for you to actually action, which was huge. So struggling with budgeting, struggling with admin, relatively busy, but not necessarily getting anywhere. What happened during those 9 weeks when you were waiting for that group coaching to start? What did you spend your time actually doing?
So the biggest thing that I spent a lot of time doing, and we were on voice memos talking about a lot as well, was you convinced me to implement a relatively structured individual coaching program. So before then I was doing group coaching as a set program, and I was doing one-off sessions that were really regular with people, but they were scheduling them, sometimes it would be every 2 weeks, sometimes it would be every month. People would be off sometimes. And so I implemented and created all of the content as far as my website and social media goes and stuff around developing these more consistent programs, so either 3 or 6 months, which was kind of what I was already doing with people already. Like I was working with them in a frequency, but it meant that I would have consistency of timing. We would know when our calls were going to be. We would know when they were ending. I had a consistent income coming through. People could plan and budget themselves better. So it worked out amazingly. And it obviously aligned because I filled all of those slots in like 2 months. So by the time the accelerator started, I was fully booked with all of my regular one-on-one coaching. And then I just had a few slots for the odd one-off session for people, which I still offer now for people to try working with me. But then if they're like, this is me, I'm committed to it, it's like, okay, cool, let's work together and make a consistent outcome so we can be working towards a goal longer term.
Yeah, I love that, because that was so, I just remember the readiness that you had when our group calls started, because yes, we kept in touch, and yes, you were in the accelerator group and you had access to the portal, the members area, and all of that information to kind of be working on and getting started with, and supporting you on instigating everything that we talked about in the clarity calls. But just the fact that you were like, well, I'm fully booked right now with all the programs, I've done all the work. You said that you'd literally accomplished what you were setting out to accomplish in the accelerator before we even began. And that was just like a huge win, which meant then we were like, right, well, now we can take it to a whole new stratosphere and start working on some of the other bigger, more meatier things that will take a lot longer. So I really, really loved that. And I will always remember that, because it was just the perfect amount of drive and ambition and self-motivation and accountability, always checking in, always letting me know where you were up to and what was happening. It was just absolutely brilliantly managed with that extra time that you gave yourself, because you're also moving at the time. So it wasn't like life stopped and you just focused on the accelerator. You actually, you had a whole life going on. There was Christmas, there were holidays, there were plans that you already had in place of traveling so much as you were back then. So yeah, that was so awesome. So
Yeah.
would you summarize some of the successes that you feel that you had during your time in the accelerator?
Sure. Yeah, so before I do that, I just wanted to, you brought up a point which I think is really important for people who are watching this in terms of if you join the accelerator early. So when I joined, we had our clarity call, and then it wasn't just like we had a clarity call and then it was like, okay, go forth. What was actually the most beneficial, because yes, I looked at the members area and yes, I watched some of the videos, but I didn't really watch many of them. It was actually more having you to be able to voice memo and be like, oh my God, what about this thing? And that consistent, ongoing coaching that I got to have, very, very fortunately, for that extra 9 weeks, that was like a total bonus. And I think the combination of that was what was able to support that that time. Because yes, I was super motivated. Yes, I am a real self-starter. But having the clarity call and creating these actions, but then also having that feedback loop through, I think that was the most beneficial thing. So for people who are who have the opportunity to be in my position where you can sign up early, you basically just get more what I call Alison impact.
I love that.
You get more Alison impact for this extra amount of time, which is why when I started the accelerator, I was like, well, I've done everything. Like I did my whole list. What's my next list? And it wasn't just like, okay, well, you've done your list now, like, let's chill. Then I had the space to focus in the accelerator a lot more on mindset and schedule, like my personal schedule. And we talked a lot about like how I was, managing my personal life with my business and, all of that sort of thing. So it opened up a space to be able to do that, as well as like dream big with some of the bigger stuff that came through. So yeah, I just wanted to sort of share that, because that was kind of coming up for me.
Yeah, that's really good, because that was important. And I think the interesting thing is that I had somebody who's already signed up to the next round of the accelerator that's happening in September, and she signed up now a couple of months early. So she is fortunate enough to be in your position. And it just reminded me so much of what's available now, because now she has time to breathe with her big list from the clarity call around all the actions that she's taking away to go and implement, and also the connection that she's got, because she's going to jump into the business circle and she'll have that compound effect as the early bird, and that level of community and somewhere else to kind of touch base with before the accelerator kicks off with her cohort. And it was just really, really exciting, because I know when I've been in coaching situations, if you make a decision that's so big and that there's a destination that you're going to be working at getting to, having that space to breathe in between, to really assimilate what's happening, let yourself catch up and move forwards, it just makes the process so much easier and so much more manageable, to kind of not feel like you're in a rush because you're on a time frame to, like you've got 12 weeks and oh my God, it's going to be over before we've even managed to catch up with ourselves. So yeah, that was really, really, really awesome. So, so successes fully booked out by the time you started in the accelerator, with ideal clients in new one-on-one group, new one-on-one programs, 3 to 6 months, and the systems and the long-term coaching. So yeah, that was phenomenal. What's it been like post-accelerator? What's been happening for you since the accelerator finished?
Yeah, so those were the wins technically pre the accelerator, and then during the accelerator, I had a whole lot of shifts in the business and the mindset in planning, and then I've been able to implement post the accelerator a lot of the bigger projects that have come forth, that were, the ideas were birthed, and the knowing I needed to do that stuff was like set in stone during the accelerator, but I didn't have the time and space while the accelerator was going on because of everything else in my business going on to actually implement. So what are we at now? In the last 3 months, I have developed a new website, which was something I knew that I had to do in the imminent future. I just didn't want to start it during the accelerator. So that's launching, and well, it's technically already launched, but it's going to be like ready for the official launch in another week or two. And then I really wanted to develop more ways of reaching people in a coaching way and in a advice and in an early awakening journey way that meant I wasn't working with people one-on-one or in group programs. So my time wasn't attached to working with people. So I've been coming up with programs that people can purchase online and work through themselves, and some other really exciting projects that are coming up that are secret.
The secret projects.
So there was this whole aspect of my business that I wanted to reach people in a way that was really accessible, that people could reach me at any time of the day, any place in the world, at a price point that was really accessible to anybody who want to start that journey and are, self-starters and want to be able to do things that that help their mindset, help shift their intuition, but are not quite ready to, say, jump into the big group program or to work with me one-on-one. And so that's become a whole branch of my business that has just started to launch and will continue to launch more and more. Was something that was birthed during the accelerator. The idea started there and I was starting to formulate it, but then I've been able to implement that since.
Yeah. So you're really scaling. You're really, really scaling and taking all of those ideas and actually actioning everything that you've got. You've had the mindset work, you've got the systems and processes, you've had the inspiration, you've developed the concepts, and now it's a case of formulating all of those structures to really get something that just fills every hole within your niche, setting you up to be an expert in your field, which is incredible. Congratulations. Yay. So good. So good. So what would you say to anybody that is sitting on the fence and is unsure about the accelerator? What is it you think that they would need to hear or know about that makes it a full body yes to just knowing this is the place that they need to be?
I think the biggest thing that, because I've worked with other coaches before, but the biggest difference with working with you is you are a real straight talker. So I would say people who are on the fence, who are not actually ready to do the work and who are not ready to hear the messages, it's not time. But if you're
Alison Impact is not for you.
No. But if you are actually ready to, implement stuff, you're ready to challenge yourself. So much of the stuff in the accelerator was to do with mindset, was to do with shifting perception around being a coach, around being seen, around being out there, around really owning that space. So if you're struggling with any of that, as well as obviously the systems and processes, but I think the biggest benefit for me was the one-on-one time that we had each week in the accelerator, just challenging those mindsets, challenging those beliefs, thinking about different ways to do things, like problem solving. So I think if you're somebody watching this and you're still watching the video and you're on the fence, that if you're looking for that aspect, then this is the program for you. If you're just, wanting somebody to do the work for you, or you're just wanting to hear somebody tell you what you want to hear, then find a different coach, because that's not, Alison won't do that.
Not what I'm going to do.
No, not at all.
It's been so much fun though. Thank you so much. Would you tell everyone how it is that they can contact you or find you? And in the comments when we finished on this live stream, would you be kind enough to just put in all of your links and connections so that people can give you a follow and love the work that you do as well. I think it's been really, oh, hey, we've got Hannah on.
Yeah.
Hey, Hannah. It's been so much fun. I think just seeing the evolution from start to finish, because now having that scalable model within your business can mean that you can do so many different things and run so many different types of programs and be available to so many different types of people, you know, not just in the arena that you were in New Zealand, but taking yourself global and being able to tap into that whole world market. I love it so much. Yeah, so good.
Yeah. No, it's been great. And for me, it's a really important ethical side of my business, is to be really accessible to people from a financial point of view, but also from a time and different mediums. You know, for some people, they don't work super well in a group, so working one-on-one, or they want to read something, or they want to watch a video, or, you know, that kind of stuff is really important. So I was able to structure that around my ethics, which has been great.
Yeah. Oh, that is really important for everyone to be able to create their unique business model. It's not a case of there's one size fits all. This is a unique thing to you based on how you feel comfortable right now, with the ability to become flexible so that you can move into different mediums as you grow and as you evolve, because who you are now and your mindset and where you're at is so different to where you were when I first met you. And like that in itself means so much more has become possible. It's easier. It's not effortless to input all of these things. It is still challenging, you know, mentally, emotionally, physically, all of the things. But being able to do it now, the evolution is just, it can all happen, you know, in a short space of time. So we're now talking, 9 months on from when you joined the accelerator?
Yeah, 8 to 9 months. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. And I love that, because you haven't gone anywhere. Even though the accelerator finished, we said back in April, you know, we're still connected. You're still in the group. There's still places for you to stay in touch with people. And I love that. And now we're doing this. It's so cool. So thank you so much for coming here and sharing your journey. And I'm really looking forward to people following you and finding out more about how they can be supported by the work that you do, because it's so magical in this world. So thank you so much, Rafe.
No problem. It's been great.
Thank you. All right, guys, if you've got any queries, if you've got any questions, feel free to reach out. Rafe will put her links in the comments below. I will make sure I put my Clarity Call link in the comments below. So if you're one of those people that's ready for Alison Impact, then reach out and book your call. Thanks again, Rafe, and see you all soon. Bye.